Sandbox Brothers presents Don't Worry, Darling, The Spoiler. So, G, what's this movie about?
This movie is pretty much based in the 1950s. Happy life, close neighbors. Husband goes to work, the wife cooks and cleans while he's away, and they have tons of banging sex.
Oh, yes, that's right. And the protagonist of this movie is Alice Chambers, portrayed by Florence Pugh. And then you have her husband, Jack Chambers, who's portrayed by Harry Styles. And you're right, they're very much in love. The scene I remember after that is that all the wives are making breakfast and sending off their husbands to work, and they all leave at the same time to go to work, while the wives go do their duties.
Alice, she's a very interesting character. One thing I didn't understand was while she's making the breakfast and talking to Jack, the whole house starts shaking. They're living it looks like a development phase. They're starting drilling or something, but they don't say much about it. That's the one weird thing. They're supposed to go to this party, Frank's house, and she wanted to bring tuna salad. However, Jack said Frank don't like tuna salad, so hence she goes for deviled eggs.
Oh yeah, and with those deviled eggs, if you recall, when she was cracking the eggs, she started realizing that there was no yolk or any egg inside at all, and then she just kept on cracking all the eggs, and it was the same thing. It was like, that's weird. But you're right, the development, it was like a community built in a desert in the middle of nowhere. And they go to this party at Frank's house. All the employees of Victory Corporation met at this party, and there was people that have been working there for a while, and then also new couples that were coming in. Frank was played by Chris Pine. And you're right, this place started looking like it's more of a cult instead of just like a working environment.
Yeah, Frank and his partner, he's the guy, so he keeps people in a routine. So his wife teaches the dance class to keep people in a routine. And he has like a picture of himself like on the top, portraying like, a dictator or a god. And when they're at the party, when everyone's gathering, he's at the top of the house and he's just staring down at everybody before he makes a speech. But if you remember, the first signs of something going wrong with that lady who snapped, she wouldn't fall in line. She knew something was off.
She was one of the wives that she was kind of causing a scene at the party. And then if you remember after the party, like I guess the day after, three of the women of the friends, they're window shopping. And it's kind of weird how they were window shopping because they're like in the mall sitting, having a drink while someone's pretty much trying on clothes, and they're pretty much looking if they like it or not. And the three women were talking about Margaret and how she was causing a scene, and they were coming up with their own theories as to what happened. And one of them was that she tried to leave with her son, and her son got lost in the desert, right? And now that's why she snapped. She's knows that something's wrong or is not complying to orders, and so now they took her son away. That was another theory that one of the women saying. And at the same time, when they were talking, one of the women asks, "So what do you think our husbands do?" And as they keep going, Bunny, who was played by Olivia Wilde, pretty much tells her to shut the fuck up. Like, don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. She keeps them in check. What we do is important for their success. But at that party, if you noticed as well, Alice went into Frank's, room where it had the whole model of the town. And she was like running her fingers through it and seeing there was like, okay, at a certain point it was like employees only, and after there was like a dead zone. Which led to when she went out on that trolley and she's seen a plane crash. And the guy in the trolley said, "Are you sure?" But he was sort of like, she wanted to go help, go see what's going on, and then the guy goes, "Oh, I can't," like he was glitching, and he's like, "No, I gotta go back to town."
That's right. That trolley ride, that bus ride, that goes from the middle of the town to the mall and goes further, and then she sees that plane. She decides to help because the bus driver was glitching. So it shows that she's walking, like she's walking in the middle of the desert, and she's going, and it looks like it was for a while. She doesn't see the plane at all, but she finds like a base. That's like on the top of a hill, and she's like walking up to get to that base. And when she gets there, she starts looking at it, but it's when she puts her hands on the glass that she just passes out. And then the next scene is her in bed, and Jack is making dinner, convincing her that she was asleep that whole time. Well, while she was passed out, she had a few visions of a circle. It looked like an eyeball, like an eye retina, and ballerinas, right? So The next scene after that is her like cleaning and still a little confused about the night before, and then all of a sudden Margaret calls her and tells her that she knows what's going on, but Alice refuses to listen. So after that, the next scene afterwards is that she's coming home from I can't remember where, and she sees Margaret slit her throat, looking at her, standing on the top of a roof of her house, and she slits her throat. While she's trying to go to get her, all these guys in red suits come and drag Alice away.
Oh yes. So after she actually touched that glass and started seeing the visions in the night, that's when she started noticing things. Before Margaret killed herself, there was that one scene she was cleaning the house, and she's cleaning the window, and there's like a mark, and after she's cleaning it, and then all of a sudden she feels like the wall is pressed her against the glass, and that's where, going to the Margaret's, she's saying, oh no, she slipped and fall, she needs some stitches, she's good. He's like, no. So yeah, she's very skeptical.
That's right. They tried putting her on pills. They got a psychiatric there just to evaluate her to see if she was okay, and they tried to put her on pills because of that. And then after that, Jack's like, okay, don't worry. Let's go to the gala that they're having. And at this gala, she didn't really want to go. And then when she's there, she sees Frank, and he's again on stage talking to everyone. And she's like trying to convince Jack, let's go. And then they pretty much announce that Jack gets promoted. So he's on stage, and she's all like confused. So she goes to the washroom, and she sees Bunny there, and she's trying to tell Bunny, this is what I saw, this is what's happening. You have to follow me. Let's go to the desert right now. I'm going to show you. Please, let's go. And Bunny is not having it. She's like, no, are you crazy? Are you going crazy just like Margaret? So at that point in time, she realizes that no one's going to believe her. After that gala, they go right into the next morning where she's making breakfast in the morning, and in the evening, now Alice and Jack were hosting a party, and Frank and his wife were also invited.
But yes, here's another interesting mix that we forgot to mention is that one of the neighbors there is the lady. She's pregnant. She's like 6 or 7 months pregnant, and she's always drinking. Alice, with that party, she wants to get information, and Frank is like pressuring her to keep going. So he's playing like the two sides, but you see why later.
That's right. Frank confronts her at the house and tells Alice, I thought you would have been a worthy adversary. It's kind of like he wanted that conflict. And so that kind of gives her that courage to speak up at the party. And, she's trying to ask questions. And one of the new couples that came, she's like, so how did you guys meet? Right. And before they can even answer, she's like, let me guess, you guys were at a train station and you dropped your ticket and he picked it up and you looked into each other's eyes. And they were like a little bit in shock, like what's going on? And Frank at this point is trying to make her seem like she's the crazy one. Don't listen to her. She's delusional. And then once the guests are all gone, she's like kind of like upset, and she's trying to convince Jack that there's something wrong, and let's leave, let's get out of here. And Jack agrees with it at first.
But the weird part about it is that everybody is working on this top secret project that nobody can talk about, and the promotion is a good thing for the husband, but like, what the fuck are you really doing, right? There's like, you're supposed to know your role and keep quiet.
And Alice was not ready to do that. So when her and Jack were about to leave, guess who shows up? The men in the red suits, and they take her away. And the next thing you see is that she's on a surgery table, and they're like giving her like shock therapy to the head.
Yes, and then it goes into something else, and you see Jack and at home on a computer, nerdy glasses, disheveled, beard, and his wife Alice comes in. I think you're thinking that could be a dream or whatever, and she comes in. She's in her scrubs. She's a nurse working. He wants to have sex. She's tired. She worked double shift. She has a couple of quick turnaround, and she has to go back to work, and he's pretty much just relying on her. But she loves her job, but their life together doesn't seem like it's working.
Yeah, that was a quick glimpse, and then it goes back into her being on the surgery table, and they're like, okay, good, she's good now. And after that, they bring her back to her house. She's like, oh, I feel great now. And Bunny receives her, and she's like, yeah, we're gonna have some drinks. And Jack's looking all great again, with the British accent, and he's, as usual, good-looking dude. Looks like everything's gonna go back to normal. But as time goes on, within the same day, she's having like these flashbacks, and certain things that he would do or say would bring her to these flashbacks, and she's not understanding until she is understanding.
So for her, the treatment, I guess, would be like electroshock therapy because she's crazy, right?
That's what they try to make her believe, that she's crazy. But then when she's coming like that, she's getting these memories, and she starts realizing that the world that she's in is fake. This is a fake world. And she starts asking Jack, what happened? And what actually happened is that she's in a virtual reality world. And throughout the movie, you see like little glimpses at the end where they show that the geeky Jack that you've seen, he knocks her out, ties her up to a bed, and puts these virtual reality sensors on her eyes. And the ending is pretty much he trapped her in this world because he wanted a perfect life with her, and that was the only way. So he signed up to this corporation, the Victory Corporation, right? And now every time they go to work, this is where they reveal it at the end, that every time the husbands go to work, it's that they're actually leaving the virtual reality world, and they have to make sure that their wives are nourished, and that their bodies are kept. So that's why he's telling her, you get to live in this world, you get to have a perfect life while I have to leave, right? And at that point in time, she goes, but I didn't ask for this. This was my life. You took my life. And then in the end, Jack is like hugging her, and she just smashes a glass on his head. And guess what? When you die in virtual reality, you die in the real world as well.
The rules apply. You die anywhere, you die. Yeah, so at that point where she's like having those flashbacks, and they actually show you like, yeah, she didn't choose to be in the virtual reality, and he has to come back in, and she's already plugged in with the two eyeball that keeps your eyeball open and has that laser scanner in your eye, and he has to plug in too. And like, yeah, that's pretty messed up. She did not ask for it, but before he actually goes in himself, it goes down like a consent form. You consent this about your partner, and then before you actually go in.
I know, insane. But tell me about the scene when Bunny comes in and sees Alice with all blood on her.
She pretty much tells her that she knows that this is a virtual reality, and Bunny, it's her choice, and because her kids died in her real life, so this is a way for her to stay with her kids forever. But she tells Alice, you gotta go. She knows, and she's like, you can't stay here, you gotta go. But she knows, and she's happy with staying in, but shit's happening now where she has to go, and it was like people are trying to prevent her from going to the exit. It's
always the guys in the red suit. They were coming after her. And this was because Frank put in the order. He's like, get her, go get her. And in the meantime, car crashes are happening. These guys in red suits are dying. But what I don't understand is while this is happening, he's talking to them, and all of a sudden his wife just grabs a knife and just stabs him. And she's just like, you stupid man. Now it's my turn.
Pretty much what I understood from that is, that was a good way to get away with murder. He pretty much is now going to take over this virtual world and probably make it better without these glitches. People figuring out your shit.
Alice finally gets to that base again, and the guys in the red suits are coming after her, but she makes it just in time to touch the glass. And the way the movie ends is like they kind of give you a glimpse of what happened. Like you see her dancing, like they show glimpses of her dancing in her apartment that you've seen before when she came home from work when she was a nurse. And then right at the final scene, you hear like a gasp, like like she got out of the virtual reality world. So it kind of leaves you to the imagination that she got out. This movie was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it myself, and I give it 2 virtual worlds up.
I give this movie 2 virtual thumbs to the eyeballs.